Stop misleading people with your pricing. I'm going to talk about that in the latest Home Prices and Insights for the City of Toronto for week ending March 29th, 2023. Buyers, today, I feel for some of you, for many of you, look, the market is frustrating enough. Interest rates are up, affordability is down, offer nights, more than half the properties are selling with multiple offers, selling at list price or more. How do you know what the pricing is? How do you know if this property is in your budget? My clients send me properties all the time that I'm looking at. I do my analysis as, you know what? I know it's priced within your budget, but it's not going to sell within your budget. That is so frustrating for buyers. Let me tell you what compounds that, what makes it way, way worse. When a realtor puts a home on the market, the price that's there, there's no offer date indicating that they expect more, because that's kind of what the offer date implies, right? I mean, everybody gets it. If there's an offer date, oh, they expect more. How much more? That's the question mark. Or it's priced so low that anybody looking at this goes, that's not the real price. It's a fake price. They're going to get more. But here's the part that's really frustrating. Either offer night doesn't work, and they don't remove the offer. They remove the offer night, but they leave the price, but still expect more. Or they, right off the bat, price it kind of where it should be selling at, but they absolutely expect more. When I say they, I mean the seller and the listing agent. So the price that it's put at on the market that's advertised, there's no chance they're going to accept that price. Nothing wrong with that on its own if it made sense, but many times today it makes no sense. And agents are just, some of them, look, there's phenomenal agents that we work with, do a great job. Whether there's an offer date or not, they're professional, pricing makes sense. If I call one of these professional agents that know what they're doing, and I say, look, you're priced at 1.4 with an offer date, where do you see this home landing at? The agent will give me their honest opinion based on relevant comparables, where they probably feel it'll land at. Now, we all know what happens on offer night could be a different story, but at least we can have an intelligent conversation. But then there's an agent like one I spoke with just the other day. House is listed, sitting there. I called up wondering, you know, what's going on? Why is this sitting there? It seems to be in my client's budget, but let me just make a phone call to find out where the seller's or the listing agent's head is at. I had already done some research where I felt the price should be, and it's kind of around where it was listed at. The agent, when I say, so what's going on? You've been on the market for a while. Where do we got to be pricing at this with this home? And the agent said, well, there's a property that's sold, and gave me the address. It turns out it's the neighbor's house right next door, and gave me the price that it's sold at, and that's what the seller has in mind. I looked up the property. I was at my desk when I called, so I looked it up quickly while I'm on the phone with her and said, well, you know, that property sold a year ago. And she said, yeah, I know. They're almost identical houses. It's right next door. That's what the seller wants. I said, but you realize the market since then, a year ago, has changed. She says, I'm not lying when I say this. She said, yes, the market has gone up since then. I was like, oh man, do I need to refer you to my YouTube channel for the right pricing out there? She believes the market is up. I said, look, interest rates are up. Affordability is down. Prices over the course of the year have come down. They're maybe rallying right now a little bit in the last couple of months, but nowhere near where they were a year ago. And she says, look, that's what we believe. I go, oh, so you're buying into this pricing. It's not just what the seller wants. You believe this is the right pricing. She goes, yeah, it makes sense. I said, well, what about the 4 or 5 properties that sold in the same vicinity just a few weeks ago, and within the last month? She goes, yeah, but the one right next door is the most relevant. How do I explain this to my buyer client that these people have no clue when it comes to pricing? And there's lots of them out there. And this is why it's very frustrating. It's not fair to the seller to be working with an agent like that. The seller could be on board, of course, because it sounds like, wow, they're going to get so much more. And then they wonder why their property sits there. But when the agent doesn't have the tools, doesn't have the skills to properly educate their seller client on where pricing should be, it complicates it for everybody. Look, everybody has the prerogative to get what they want for their home, and that's the price and that's it. I'm not going to sell it otherwise. That's fine. But at least know that you're way over, or know that your pricing makes no sense. That's what's really frustrating. It's agents that don't have the skills to properly price these homes and just put it out there and see what happens. If you think this video can help somebody please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. Hey folks, if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time, and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. Things can change pretty quick when it comes to real estate. Public attitudes, public opinions, interest rates changing, all that. I know a lot of people feel that real estate can be a long, dragged out process. Not really. Things can move very quickly in one direction and then another. Let me show you. These are average sold prices. We've got condos, prices are up. Townhouses and semis, prices are up. Detached, prices are up. That's across the board. Let's start off with detached properties. This is for the City of Toronto. 161 detached properties were sold for week ending March 29th. I have a whole year on the board here. 161 is a great week compared to where we've been selling. And if we go all the way back, we got to go back to June of last year to where we had a week where we did more than 161. 41 of those detached properties sold at $2 million or more. 41. The previous week we did 21, so we basically doubled the amount of detached properties selling at $2 million or more. If we look at the $2 million, 5 of those sold between $4 million and $9.5 million. People are spending money out there. There was 18 of those detached properties that sold under $1 million. What's going on with average sold price? Well, it's up. It's way up. Average sold price is sitting at $1,780,000, and we've got to go back to, where do we got to go? All the way back to the beginning of June to get back to where we were before at the same average sold price of $1,780,000. 1,780 is 8% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price is 14% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Median price is 1.4. Now, I've been on this channel and I've been saying over the last few weeks that, hey, maybe prices, it looks like we've turned the corner, because for weeks before that, I was saying that average price and median price is going up, then I said, maybe we've turned the corner. I don't know what the future is going to hold. I don't know. Nobody knows where prices are going to be when you have these kinds of things happening. So yeah, we went up. Yeah, it looked like things were calming down a bit. But now it looks like they're going up. And it's not just prices. I'm looking at that. I'll get into the months of inventory in a little while. There's so many things happening out there that's putting a ton of pressure on pricing right now. So 161 were sold. 55% sold at list price or more. And when I talk about list price or more, 7 properties sold between 400 and 761,000 over list price. So I'm not just talking about 100, 200,000 over the list price. 7 sold between 400 and 761 above list price. It's like crazy days out there again, it seems, in some situation. Listings, not a lot of change. 283 detached properties were listed. It's just up a little bit from the previous week. Not a lot of drama there. I mean, it's a spring market. We're expecting more listings. I don't know if they're actually going to show up, which is going to put more pressure, because we know the buyers have come to the party. We don't have any listings right now. Months of inventory, way down. So think about it. Sales went way up. We didn't supply the listings for these people to buy, so they're buying some of the inventory that's already there. Months of inventory came way down, sitting at 1.2 months of inventory. Average days on market is 13. As months of inventory were kind of climbing up, prices leveled off a little bit. Now it's months of inventory is down, prices are up again. That's the city of Toronto. As a summary, here we go here. Sales 161, average sold price 1.780, sold at list price or more. 55% of the properties are selling at list price or more, and months of inventory is 1.2. That's for all the city of Toronto for detached properties. Here's some of the numbers broken down for the different neighborhoods in Toronto. Look at some of these numbers. Well, let's look at selling at list price or more. In Scarborough, 62% of the properties are selling at list price or more. East York, Riverdale, the Beaches area, 79% of the properties are selling at list price or more. Let's look at months of inventory. Scarborough, 0.7 months of inventory. East York Beaches, 0.7 months of inventory. Rexdale, Downsview, 0.7 months of inventory. Prices, 1 week to the next, which areas have prices higher? I've got the arrows here. For Etobicoke, prices are up week over week. High Park, Parkdale, prices are up. Scarborough, prices are up. East York, prices are up. Willowdale, Bayview, prices are up week over week. It's a general trend right now across the city of Toronto, across the GTA actually in general. Here's a close look at semis. Sales have been going up for the last few weeks. 49 semi-detaches were sold. 12 of those were at $1.5 million or more. The previous week it was 8. The last week it's 12. Average sold price is $1,288,000. 1,288 is 14% lower than where the price was a year ago. Median price is 15% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Similar pattern to the detached market. Prices were going up, kind of flattened out a little bit, maybe turning down, but it looks like they could be headed upwards now. And months of inventory has been dropping for 3 weeks in a row, now sitting at 0.8 months of inventory. 71% of the semi-sold sold at list price or more. Here's townhouses. 18 freehold townhouses were sold. 4 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price has been climbing up, now sitting at $1,372,000. 1,372 is 9% lower than where the price was a year ago. The median price of 1,290 is 10% lower. Similar pattern. Prices were going up, down, and now we're not sure what direction they're going. Everything's pointing to prices continuing to climb a little bit. Months of inventory, way down. Now when I say everything's pointing to it, a lot of my focus is on where's months of inventory, sitting at 0.8, and 61% of the townhouses sold at list price or more. So if you're a buyer, you're out there, you've got to be working with an agent that can help you compete. Now, competing doesn't mean you need to overpay. You just need to know how to maneuver in a situation where there's probably going to be more than just your offer on the table. Condos. 274 condos were sold. Let's go back. The last time we did more than 274 was May last year. So 274 were sold. 32 were at $1 million or more, and 32 is a big number for us. The last time we hit 32 was June last year. Average sold price way up from last week. $745,000 is the average sold price of condos being sold. $745,000 is 11% lower than where it was a year ago. The median price of $680,000 is 8% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Now the condo market, different than the detached in a sense. The numbers, the average, I'm getting, it's first day with my new lips here, forgive me. The movement of average sold price peaks and valleys is a lot more smoother in the condo space than it is in a detached space. And you could see it here, prices were going up, leveled off a little bit, and now looks like they're going to be going up again. 274 were sold. 40% sold at list price or more. Listings came down. We listed 512 condos last week for week ending March 29th, which is kind of lower than what we've been listing over the previous month when we look at it on a weekly basis. But months of inventory continues to drop slowly each week, drops by a little bit, now sitting at 1.8 months of inventory. So the fact that the movement of condo prices is not so, drastic. A lot has to do with months of inventory. It's kind of just moving in inches, just very, very small. So, City of Toronto. Here's a summary of months of inventory. A balanced market would be up here between 4 months and 6 months of inventory. Months of inventory went down. In each of these market segments here, in each of these home types, it's nowhere near being a balanced market. It is, for the most part, maybe not so much for condos, still a seller's market, but for detached semis and towns, it's an aggressive seller's market. These numbers are nuts. Nobody's expected it to be this way. Are they going to continue? That's something me or nobody else can predict. But right now, if you're in the market now or looking to be in the market, whether you're selling or buying, it's so important to understand this market and to work with a professional that could help you navigate this market and make good decisions for you and your family. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.